Okay, in our last video, we saw how to pass data into a form. Now we would want to explore getting data out of the fields of that form. But before we proceed, let's do some organization to our project. So I'm going to find an activity called multiple assign. I want to use the multiple assign here. I want to transfer this bunch of stuff to the multiple assign. So I'm going to copy, paste, copy, paste, add a new row, copy, paste, copy, paste. Now this keeps my work neat, and I'm going to take off this, delete and delete. So we have just one single multiple assign, just to make everything look nice and tidy. Now to get values from a form, I'm going to use the activity get form values. I'm going to drag this activity underneath my show form, because before you can get values from a particular form, that form has to be open. So we need the show form first, then the get form values. Next, I want to select the form that I am getting the values from, which is the start form. I hit Ctrl S to save. Now I expand the arguments editor. Now, if you notice, the argument key names here are actually the property names coming from the form components. Now, if I head back to my start form, for example, let's take a look at name of player. If I head back to if I cancel out of this and head back to my start form, and I view the name of the player field here, I hit edit and field key, you can see that we have name of player, and that is exactly where this name of player field comes out from. Now, if you look at this, you can see that all the property names are out here except for that of the buttons. And that is why I said use a property name that you can remember, so you do not have to go back to the start form to confirm what property did I use for my play button. Good. So already I know that I used the word play button and the word end button. So I'm going to go back to my get player request. I open up the expression editor, and I'm just going to add those properties. Play button. So the Uipath Studio automatically adds properties for every other field except for the buttons. So I'm going to add the buttons myself. So play button and end button. Good. Now the next thing is to bind these key arguments to variables in my get player request. I'm going to hit Ctrl K in the name of the player field to create a variable called selected player name, and automatically get this binded. I do that for number of questions field by hitting Ctrl K and selected number of questions. And for my type of question field, I'm going to hit Ctrl K, and I'm going to create selected type of question, hit enter. For my difficulty field, I'm going to hit Ctrl K and I create selected difficulty. I hit enter. For my play button, I'm going to hit Ctrl K and I create selected play. I hit enter. And for my end button, I'm gonna hit Ctrl K and I would create the selected end variable, and I hit save. I do not need to do that for my label because I'm not gonna get any value from my label. It's just the label of the form. Now I'm gonna hit save, Ctrl S to save. The next thing I want to do is go to the variable panel to see that these variables have been created. And I would love to switch the number of questions from a type of double to the type of string. So I'm going to make this a string. The selected number of questions, I make it a string. I minimize the variable panel and go back to the get form values, expand the argument section again. And what I want to do is change this to a string so it corrects the error. Okay, so I retrieve my number of questions as a string. I'm going to save and everything should be okay. So we can test this out. I'm going to right click on my get form values and toggle a breakpoint on it. And I'm going to debug the get player request. I hit debug and we can see that if you go over to your local panel, you can use this to view the values of your variables. So in your local panel, you can see that the selected number of questions and the selected type of question difficulties are all null. That's because the get form values has not been executed yet. So the moment the user places the names here, so if I put my name here, Jane, number of questions 4, and the type of question history and difficulty medium, and I hit the play button. Now the moment I hit the play button and I let this continue, you should see that it returns whatever was supplied in the form. Now you can see that for the end button, it wasn't selected. The end button, the selected end variable comes out as false. And for the play button, it was selected and it comes out as true. And the good thing about this is that the play button does not get activated until all the required fields have been selected. So the player cannot hit play until he or she has provided a name, a number of questions, type of questions, and the difficulty level. So with this, now we could make some decisions and conditional statements. So let's see that in the next video.